Good morning, everyone. This is Deacon Abel Zamora of St. Mary's Church here in Fontana. We just finished riding our bike from the parish to this beautiful park. If you look around, you can see trees, the mountain behind us, a beautiful blue sky that reminds us who created it. God is the creator of everything, the creator of life. And here's our Father. I would like to share a brief message that I believe is very relevant to today's world. If I may read the reading of the Gospel from yesterday at Mass. If you went to Mass in person or you saw it through television, this might sound familiar. If you didn't, please let me read it for you. The Gospel is according to St. Matthew. After he had fed the people, Jesus made the disciples get into a boat and preceded him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. After doing so, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When it was evening, he was there alone. Meanwhile, at the boat, already a few miles offshore, was being tossed about by the waves, for the wind was against it. During the fourth watch of the night, he came towards them walking on the water. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified. "It is a ghost," they said, and they cried out of fear. At once, Jesus spoke to them. "Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid." Peter said to him in reply, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come." Peter got out of the boat and began to walk on the water toward Jesus. But when he saw how strong the wind was, he became frightened. And beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me!" Immediately Jesus stretched out his hands and caught Peter and said to him, "O you of little faith, why do you doubt?" After they got into the boat, the wind died down. Those who were in the boat did him homage, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." In this passage, we clearly see how the disciples were experiencing a difficult moment, for they were at sea and the sea was rough. It was windy, and because of those difficult moments, they were afraid. They were terrified. And I think we can relate that to today's environment. A very rough sea. Again, it's not news about the pandemic. There are some people that are getting sick. Some people are even dying. And we see all that, and we sometimes are afraid. We are overcome by fear, by anxiety, and we're terrified. But then we remember that the disciples were afraid because they did not have Jesus with them at the time. So that is a wake-up call for us, that when we don't have Jesus with us, that's what happens. We become afraid and terrified. But just as Jesus came to them in their moment of need, Jesus comes to us in our moment of need. And he says, "It is I. Do not be afraid. Have courage." And just as Peter, when he had his eyesight fixed on Jesus, he had faith in Jesus and trusted in him, he was able to do what we think would be impossible, to walk in water. But when he turned away from Jesus and he concentrated on the problems around him, then he began to sink. And that could happen to us too. So Jesus is telling us, trust in me, have faith in me, have your eyes fixed in me, and I will give you peace. Do not lose faith. And my brothers, if we do that, we'll be going through this difficult time. Yes, but we'll be in peace, and the peace that only Jesus can give us. So I encourage you to do several things. Follow Jesus' steps. Before he went to the boat and walked on water, he went up to the mountain to pray by himself. So there's number one. For us to also pray, increase our life of prayer. Read the Holy Scripture, pray with the Holy Scripture, invite Jesus to come with us in our lives, and you'll see that that will make a difference. So thank you for listening to this short message, and I invite you to please make a comment, see what you thought of it, and if you like it, please keep on following us. If you would like to join us, Deacon Carlos and I, on riding the bicycle, by all means do so. Put a message in the comments and we'll get in touch with you. All we ask is three things: that you wear a face mask, that we keep 6 feet apart, and that we wash our hands periodically or often. The experts in this subject matter tells us that that's how we can slow down the pandemic, and that way we keep safer our loved ones. So again, have a good day and God bless you.